the Mythos Travel Enterprises Blue Sky assignment. I wanted to show you how to do it. What we have here is the template in which you're going to write your memo. It's at the end of the memo that came from Sam, but before you find that, you're going to load onto Blackboard, find your name next to this list of flights. I found my name next to the one that said Sydney, Los Angeles, so I opened up the Sydney Flight 333, Sydney to Los Angeles, and that gave me this memo from Mythos Travel. And I'm concentrating on this part right here. I take that out and I open up the other part within Mythos, which shows me kind of a generic form, which is labeled the B100, the B50, the B200, and I'll type into the flight which city, Flight 333, Sydney to Los Angeles, and I'll also copy from what I had received from Sam Dranitz what the price and demand is for coach, my business class, and my first class. Also, then what I'll do is I'll take a look at the first number. Let's say 1250. I'll make this bigger so that it shows up very nicely, and we'll see that coach is 1250 minus 7Q for my flight. Your flight is going to be different than that probably. So 1250 minus 7 is 1,243. That's the price that I could charge for coach class on my airplane. And if I did that, the coach class would only get one customer. My business class, it has a demand function of $1,300 minus 7 times quantity. So I could not get anyone to fly unless I charged $1,293, which is $7 less than $1,300. This is $7 less than $15. Oh, this is $1,493. So I would just type that in there like that. And then, because I'm subtracting, if I want 2 passengers, I'm going to have to lower my price. So I would say it's equal to that number minus 7 for my formula. Your formula might be minus 10, might be minus 12, might be minus 8, could be anything. Same thing here. This, if I want 2 customers, over here where it says 2 passengers or 2 customers, 2 segments, if I'm going to need to lower my price. So it'll be equal to whatever number equals above the, right above there, minus 7 for me. And the same thing is here. The first class is price is equal to 1,500 minus 7Q. So 1493 minus 7 will be equal to that minus 7. And there I have my functions. If I want 3 customers now, I can just highlight those like I've just done and pull that down, and that fills it in there. Notice how each of these numbers are $7 less than the number above it. And actually, if I wanted to, I could just highlight all 3, double click on that, and it completely populates the whole column all the way down. Like for instance, I could get 50 people to fly coach for $900 a piece. I could get 50 people to fly business class for $950 a piece. And if I charged $1,150 for first class, 50 people would be willing to pay for it. Now, none of my planes have 50 first class seats, so I'm not going to charge that low, but you can see that all the way down is the demand for the products that we have, and even going into negative numbers. So, and that's just a function of it. I can't get more than 178 people to buy a coach class ticket, and the only way I could get them to pay that would be to pay $4, which would be crazy. I think on my airplane the cost of flying someone coach is like $50 or so, and so that would mean that I really wouldn't want to charge a price that was less than $50 for a coach, because I'd be spending more than $50. I'd be spending $50 to have someone pay me $46 to fly them. That just doesn't make any sense, and that wouldn't even touch the fixed costs. So how do we do it? We go up to the top. I'll pull it back a little bit more so you can appreciate what we've done. And now this number, 1293, is the reflection of, if you take a look at it up here, it says that number is equal to whatever I'm thinking about charging for business times 1. Now, why did I use the business class one for the B100 flight? The B100 flight only has business class. So for the B100, I'm only using this middle column, the business column. And what I want to do to figure out my total revenue on the B100 is play around with the idea of what price would I need to charge to get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 customers. And that price would be equals to, in order to get 2 customers, I would need to, this is multiply, this is how you do multiply, times the price. If I charge $12.86, I can make $2,572. If I wanted to just, once I've populated that, I can go to that little part, double click on it, and it totally fills it all in. So I have the possibility of making $48,000, $50,000, $56,000. The numbers keep on going up until they don't. Now I stopped it right there at 100 because the B100 only has 100 seats on it. So I could make as much as $60,000, or actually if you see here, there's a few ways to make a little bit more than $60,000 if I charge enough. But this is not a revenue maximization exercise. Blue Sky is about profit. So we want to make this column, the profit column, be as high as possible. But we are facing fixed costs of $30,000, so I punch that in and double click it down, and that just fills it in like I've shown. And the variable cost is equal to $60, but the $60 per passenger. So if I wanted to put in how much variable cost I have with 2 passengers, I say it's equal to 2 passengers times 60 bucks. And that is going to be 120. And once I've put it in as a formula, I can just should be able to double click and it fills it all right in. And what I like to do, and you should do it too, is to make sure that the number is right, that you've done it right. You go down to a quantity that's easy to calculate. You say, okay, 10 people is easy to calculate. In order to make sure that you're on the right track, at 10 people, the fixed cost is $30,000. Good, and that's what it is, $30,000 all the way down. If it doesn't say $30,000 all the way down, you've done something wrong. Go back and do it again. And if I'm spending $60 in marginal cost per passenger, the variable cost per passenger is $60, then flying 10 passengers should cost $600. So that checks out. And then furthermore, 10 passengers at $12.30 a piece will have given me $12,300. So I can calculate my profit now. My profit, if you look up here, you can see that it's equal to, well, I'll do it right now, equals whatever money I'm bringing in, my revenue, minus whatever my fixed costs are, minus whatever my variable costs are, and I hit enter. And I'm losing $27,000 if I only charge that price. But if I double click, I can see that the prices are, I'm losing money all the way down until I drop my price low enough that I'm starting to finally make some money. And there is a way to make quite a lot of money here on with the B100 flight. In Sydney to Australia, I can make, as you can tell, the most is 24,800. Look at that. No, 913. So right in there. And 24,913 is more than 24,912, so that's the one we'll pick. We'll also notice here that the number of passengers I'm getting is 89, and that the amount of revenue is $60,253. And that covers my fixed costs and my variable costs and leaves me with $24,913 in profit. If I were to do that same system again using the B50, then I have I'm using not my business class demand data, but my demand data for the coach class, because it's all coach class on the B50. Let me see if I were to fill that in, and you see that when I did that, there was a problem. This $10,000 started to get bigger and bigger, so I'm going to change that to $10,000 and highlight that and bring that in, so now it's all 10,000 all the way down, and we're going to just kind of get rid of that part of it because that doesn't apply. Nothing down here is possible because we know that it's pointless to try to sell more tickets than we have seats on the plane. What this appears to have done is that the maximum profit I can make with the B50 is $25,000. That has $10,000 in variable cost, $10,000 in fixed cost, $45,000 in revenue. I sell all 50 seats and I can make 25 grand, which is a little bit better than I was making. If you recall, the best I could do over here with the B100 was 24,913. So right now I'm thinking that I'm going to use the B50 instead of the B100 for Sydney to Los Angeles, but maybe that won't be the case. We'll see how it goes. the total revenue that I make with the B200 is going to be a little harder to do. The B200 has 10 seats. I'm going to back this up so you can see what kind of numbers we're looking at. It has first class seats of just 20, and then it has 50 business class seats, and then it has something like 130 coach class seats. So there's a couple of things that happen while we move down the line. For instance, the total revenue that I make, if I'm only going to fly one customer, I want that customer to be a first class customer, and so the total revenue of $14.93 reflects the most the one customer who's got the highest willingness to pay. One customer is willing to pay $14.93, and that person, we're going to give them a first class seat. The amount of money I could make, though, even though that's a lot for a plane ticket, it would not cover the fixed costs. Plus, there's variable costs of $120 on the B200 for a first class passenger, so we'd be losing a lot of money. If I take this amount and multiply it times the number of passengers, then I will get the revenue that would be generated from we gotta do this. So I'm going to push in, and that's equal to 2 passengers times whatever 2 passengers are willing to pay for first class for Sydney to LA. That's $14.86, and so it's $29.72. Now I can fill that in, but I'm going to drag it down just so far because I don't want to go beyond the first class. I don't want to go beyond that line. See that line? That line is the mark for first class. So I can't sell more than 20 first class seats. So I'm not going to calculate any further than that. My revenue for the B200 is 20 seats maximum, and the most I can make in revenue is $27,200. My fixed cost, on the other hand, is going to be constant all the way down, because fixed costs, regardless of whether I even sell any seats in coach or first class or business class, is still going to be $50,000. I will put in a little line there just for my own sake, so I don't get lost when I'm filling out these charts. Okay, now we come on up here. The variable cost is $120 for first class, so I'm going to say it's equal to 2 passengers times 120. The reason I indicate it as on the side as a formula is that allows me to fill in the way that we've been doing. Now you can't really double click easily there because it'll fill it in all the way to the bottom, and we only have to pay $120 per passenger for the first class passengers. Our profits here, if we sell all our first class seats, of course, are better than what they have been, but it's still pretty bad. That's a negative $25,000. So we're losing money. If all we do is sell first class tickets, the people willing to pay first class are not enough to justify flying this plane. We need a lot more people to be profitable. So here's where it gets tricky, and this is the part that you probably, if you're watching this video this far, this is why. We're going to put in that the amount of revenue we make on our first passenger in business class is going to be equal to the price that one person in business class is willing to pay plus $27,200. So we're going to say equals $27,200, and that's for me because my plane has revenue generated by $27,200 after 20 first class seats. You are going to have a different number because you have different demand for your flights. $27,200 plus 1 passenger times, and whatever that 1 passenger pays for business class. And remember, it's coach and business and first class. So just make sure we're on line 27, and it's all very good. And then I can just fill that in right down there. You do make sure you do be very careful on the first one, and then you save steps afterwards, and you're right. So this is going to equal 2,400. I think that's going to be the same for just about everybody. Plus, and then whatever it costs to fly a business class person, which I believe is $60, times, and however many passengers we have. And on that line, it's 1 person. But we're going to fill that in all the down, and stop. And now we can calculate profits along here. Fill it right in. And now we're making money. All right, that's good. We're only making 12,300, so that B50 flight is still the best one so far, but it does cover our costs. And we do the same thing here. It's equal to 67700 plus one passenger times, and whatever that one passenger is willing to pay, but this time we're using our coach class seat. And once we've done that, we can also put in this. It's equal to 5,400 plus $50 times however many coach passengers we have, and there is our profit, again a positive profit. At this point we can just highlight all of that, double click, should be able to double click. Oh, I guess it's confused by that middle 50, and here we are. Oh, we're losing money again, what the heck? No, it's okay. There is a spot in here where we're raking in some pretty nice cash right there. It looks like 29,007. Oh, look at that, 30,000. Oh boy, they're doing all right. So the highest amount that we seem to be able to make is 30,253. We do that by selling 51 coach class seats, 50 business class seats, and 20 first class seats. The total amount of revenue we make is 88,253. Oh, well, we got a problem here with that. We got to change that. We got to make sure that we're don't have our fixed cost any more than 50,000. So I have to highlight that, and rework it. Okay, now here we come on down there. We should be right in to the 30,000. Where were we? Around 50 to 9303. There it is. Okay, good. 50 still the same rate, but the amount that we make is a little better. We're making 88,253 in revenue, total revenue from all three, the sales of all three different types, doing some benefit there. 50,000 fixed costs, 79.50 in total variable costs, 30,303 in profit for this one flight. And that's how you do it. When you write your memo up, you're going to include the information like I included in the piece that I sent you, and you can read that at your leisure, and you can use it as you will. But what we're going for here is that the memo one would write for this would recommend switching aircraft and begin using the B200, because right now we're using the B100. But that is, Blue Sky was using the B100, but now that we own them, we have done a better job. We've analyzed the best way to profit maximize, and we're using the B200. You go ahead and read that. I think it should make perfect sense. I hope this was helpful. Thank you very much.